Hi Flosstube, it's Lori McClary, textilist. Welcome to my channel. Hey Flosstubies, it's Lori. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here, and I do apologize for that. I had a family emergency come up in January, and we've been kind of working and managing through that for several weeks now. But I think we're on an even keel, more or less, and I thought this would be a great time to hop on and give you an update on what I've been working on. I have lots to show you today. I have some fully finished objects and some finishes and haul and several things I've been working on, and some plans that will probably change, but you know, it's all in the planning. So let's get started. This is Briar Rabbit by Lottie Da. I have it kind of temporarily popped into a antique frame that I have. And this is something I finished a couple, 3 years ago, and just got it out. I'm not committed to this frame, but I like how it looks right now. So it may stay here, or it may get finished into a pillow eventually. But for this spring, it's going to stay in the frame. The next one I want to show you is Spring Delivery by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. This was a start and a finish since I saw you last. I have this on a pedestal frame that I picked up from Big Lots. And I think this is a 4x6, and this is done on a 40 count prim green by R&R, and it fits in there just perfectly. They do have at least online, they have a 5x7 as well, but I knew I wanted a pedestal frame. I looked and looked, and one of them popped up in my Instagram feed, so I ordered it. It was only $15, very reasonable. I just ordered it online, picked it up in the store, and I really love how this finishes. So that's done with the called for colors. Again, Spring Delivery, Brenda Gervais, using prim green R&R and all the called for flosses. The last fully finish I have is another stitch that I finished. I think I finished it late, early, mid last year. I finished it last year. I started it quite a while ago, and I picked up the frame. It's also not completely laced and done, but I'll show you what it looks like in the frame. And this is Where Hearts Rest. It's also a Brenda Gervais. And this is done on a 28 count. I'm not sure. I might put it down below. I think it's a Wren, 28 count Wren, using the call for colors, and you can see it's a little wrinkly because I haven't stretched it yet. I just have it kind of popped in there. But I love this frame. I love how this turned out, and I'll be stretching, pinning, and framing that probably this weekend, and so I can hang it up. So those are my fully finishes since I last saw you. Next up, I have some things that I finished and some things that I've started and finished since we last talked. The first one is Ink Circles Spring Snow. And I started this, I think it took me maybe about a week altogether to stitch it. It went pretty quick, but I did it over a longer period of time. But it was a really quick stitch. And this is done on the called for, let me see, it's a called for 30 count dove, using the called for gas colors. And I love how this turned out. I love this color of linen. It's one of my favorites. And again, that was Ink Circles Spring Snow. I do have a frame picked out for it. I just need to cut the mat and get it loaded, but I'm not going to hang it this year, so it's not high on my priority list of things to fully finish. The next thing that I stitched on recently when we had that really nice spring weather in February is samplings number 1, Brenda Gervais, and samplings number 2, Brenda Gervais. And I squeezed them on a piece of linen. I believe this is 40 count. You know what? I'm not sure if I wrote this down. Again, I'll put it down below. I'll have to look it up what I stitched it on. I think it's baked clay, positive. But I stitched it, both of them, on this piece of linen. I drew out the shape that they're on, and I added a 1/4 inch so that I knew I could fit it on there. And I love how these turned out. And these are done in the called for colors. And these are adorable. And then they will, I also have the, oh, where'd it go? I also have the other pieces of linen to do the other eggs that are on here. And I do plan on doing those. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish them as they're called for, if I'll do something that's more flat, but we'll see. So those will look really nice next to the spring delivery. And as I was stitching them, I had this idea because I had a little bit of the prim green left over from the spring delivery. So what I did is I took motifs. Let me grab it off camera here for a second. I took some motifs from spring delivery and I fit them on the egg shape that was here. So this is all Brenda Gervais. And then in the leftover piece of prim green from spring delivery, I stitched another egg. So again, using motifs from this. So they'll all be displayed together. And I'm pretty excited about putting this together. So I hope it looks the way I think it's going to look. So these take about a day, depending on your stitching speed. I'm not a particularly fast stitcher. This is also done on 40 count. I know these are all 40 count. The other thing that I worked on a little bit was the Prairie Schooler Santa. This is 2008. It's not completed yet, but I did make some progress on it. That one I probably have another day of stitching on, but I'm not in the Santa mood or the winter stitching mood anymore. I might have one more instance of winter stitching because we usually have at least another snowstorm between now and April. So I'm expecting that I may do just a little bit more winter stitching. I get a lot of questions on the colors that I use. I use all the called for colors on my Santas except for the red, the green, and the white. So I use Cosmo 926 for the green and Cosmo, let's see what, 245. This is 245. And then instead of, when it calls for white, I use DMC 3866 because I like this color a little bit better and I also get better coverage. So other than those three, I use the called for colors on my Santas. Another start that I had just a little bit ago, I don't know that I'll get it done this spring, but is the 2 Rabbit Sampler by La Di Da. And here is my progress so far. Let me back up a little bit. I'm doing this on I think it's a 40 straw, I believe. And this is more the color, but here is my progress, and I'm doing it using the call for DMCs here. The next thing, oh, I do have another finish here to show you. The next one that I started and finished, it took me, I think, 3 days, is Winter Whites by Summer House Stitch Works. There it is as a little sampler, and there it is finished as a drum. I also bought the finishing kit. It comes there. I may change it out because I did change out a couple of the colors. I used Flatfish, which is one of the colors, but I changed out and used Kudzu. I think it's Kudzu Weeks Kudzu for Sandcastle. And then I used DMC, the same DMC that I used for my snowman, 3866, instead of whitewash. And here is my finish. And I did change out the Sandcastle was kind of a straw color, a sand color, and I changed it out for the Kudzu, which is a piney bluish green. I really like how it turned out. And I do plan on making it into a drum. I may or may not use all of the pieces of the finishing kit. I may use this color of trim instead of the white, but I'm not positive. I haven't made a decision yet. Probably won't decide until I get into it and see what works. So that was a finish as well. Okay, I think that was all of my finishes. Let's move on to the rest of what I've been stitching. So since the beginning of the year, except for working on little smalls, I've mostly been concentrating on a lot of my samplers. Let's see, I may have started one or two, but most of these are ones that I've previously started and had just been working on. The first one is D Free Tag 1849, and I picked that up at the attic when we were there for summer school and kitted it up there. I am missing one silk, which I noticed as I got to where I'm at here. It kind of stymied me as I start looking for that silk. So far I haven't been able to find it. It looks like every one is out. So there's some, if you look at there, the pink doesn't show up quite as well. This is being done on the called for, let's see, I think this is 36 count Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works. And this is my progress. And it's being done on the called for Gloriana silks, which are just lovely and yummy and wonderful to work with. I love these silks. And I've got that in my Parisian bag here, and along with my cute little needle book that Wendy gave me. Wendy, of course, being the designer for Needle Art by Wendy. So I love working on this. I plan on continuing to spend some more time on this as the year goes on. This is one of the ones I'd like to finish this year. I don't know that I'll get it finished, but I hope to make really good progress on that. The next one that I have been working on, I started this in August for my grandmother Ruby, and it's called Roses for Ruby, and it's the Scarlet House. And I'm doing this on a 36 count Weeks Dye Works linen called Aspen. And I'm using my own thread conversion. I pulled a lot of the colors from my stash. Oops, let me get over here. This is my progress. So I've made a little bit of progress since last I showed this. I love this stitch. I'm using some Color and Cotton, some DMC, some Gentle Arts, and then a lot of Victorian Motto because I have a bunch of it. I really love how this is turning out. It's very pretty. I like the striking contrast of the light colors and the dark colors and the blue in there. So I've given that a little bit of love. And the next one that I've been putting a little bit of time on is Sarah Casey Unwin, 1848, which is a Chessie and Me stitch. I kitted this up and started this at a girls' weekend last summer, where we went to, oh golly, what's the name of that shop? It's in Iowa. I forget, I'll put it down here. So we went for a girls' weekend. We stayed there at the place above the shop, and we had a great time. And this is kitted up, let me look here. do I have? Oh, here we go. This is kitted up on 36 count color and cotton Havana. And this is, let me back up, otherwise the color gets blown out. So this is Havana. I love the contrast of the colors on here. This is my progress. So I did make it all the way around. My border met. Happy, happy day, happy dance. And I'm now just starting to move across the design here. And this is using all of the called for Classic Colorworks and Weeks threads. So there they are. So that got a little bit of love. I was really happy to get that border done and that it met, because the rest of it's easy peasy. The next thing I'm going to show you, I started on New Year's Day, and this, I think this is coming out at market, and it's What Remains Is Love by Blackbird Designs. This was an exclusive chart for, let me pull it out of here. This was an exclusive for Traditional Stitches 20th anniversary. And I am stitching this in remembrance of people that I've lost to cancer. Unfortunately, in the time in between that I started it now, I've lost 2 more people. A really good longtime friend and coworker, and then my granddaughter's, my little granddaughter's friend, we also lost her. So it's unfortunate that I have more names to put on here, but again, What Remains Is Love. And this is my progress. I'm doing this on, what am I doing this on? I don't recall what I'm doing this on, and I don't have it on my tag, so I will put it down below if I can find it. But I am using the Call for Colors. And I believe I'm doing this on a 40 count. So there's my progress. I got a little bit of haul since we last talked. All of them I'm kind of pretty excited about. This is a drum club through Country Sampler, and I was able to get in on the second wave of the club. And this is Stacy Nash Primitives. It's all Stacy Nash. This is a Wonderful Life Pinkeep drum. And of course, everything is bundled up wonderfully from Country Sampler. This particular club comes with a pedestal. And I'm not sure, I think the drums are about 6 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And they also sent me another pattern that was the first one. I don't have the kit for that. I just have the chart. And I don't know where I put it, so I can't show it to you. But this is the one that I started out with. And it also came with an adorable waxer that goes with the drum. Stacy's daughter makes these waxers, so this one is a bell. So I got that in the mail. I also received, I ordered this Joyous Season, which was a recent release late last year by Paulette Stewart of Plum Street. I love that. It's so cool. Give me a big red house. Oh, here it is. I did have it. So this is the first drum. This is called the Faded Garden Pinkeep drum. And that was the first one. So I believe that there's a series of 4. So I'm really looking forward to the next 2 as well. I also ordered, after seeing someone else had stitched these, to add to my Prairie Schooler selection. This is Santas and Snowmen. And this is a book 151. And this is readily available. It's one of the reprints. And then quilt-wise, I had seen this when it came out. I'm a huge Joe Morton fan. And so when the opportunity arose, I picked up the box and the whole kit for roses, which is a new line by Joe Morton. And this is the kit. So some shops are doing it as a block of the month. I ordered the entire kit all together. I know that Olivia is doing it, Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I also think that Carol Saltbox also is getting it. The pattern, the actual pattern is called Block Bonanza, and then everything you need comes in the kit. So I don't have that on my horizon to do anytime soon, but I was happy to get the kit. There was a kit I think I showed several videos ago that I had really wanted that was Joe Morton, and I didn't buy it at the time, and it was just a happenstance that, I mean, it was one that was from like 6 or 7 years ago. It was a happenstance that I was able to get the kit. It was like an odd one left in a shop, and I was able to pick it up. So I love Joe Morton. Super happy to get that. So next up, I think I'm going to show you what's on the agenda for plans. These are not definite anything. It's just things that are definitely on my radar that I want to get to, and we'll probably get to sometime this spring and summer. And of course, plans always change. And I do plan on putting some smalls in there, probably a little bit more of pin keep type of stitches or small stitches similar to what I showed you that I did for spring. I'll probably have a few of those for summer, but generally I plan on working on the samplers that I have started. There may be some market releases that kind of insert themselves in there, but I'm not sure yet because I haven't seen all of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Okay, I'm not sure why I keep taking my glasses on and off because I really can't see anything to read without them, so I'm just going to leave them on. First up on things that I really want to get back to is Mary Wood 1837 by Scattered Seed Sampling. And I love this. I love all of the red. I am doing this on, let's see, do I have it written down? Yes, I'm doing this on 45 count. Lakeside Linen Vintage Sand Dune, and I don't have all of the colors pulled. I'm really doing the border right now, so all I have pulled are the red and the green, but it looks like I'm looking to pull whatever I have on hand. This is Burning Bush by Victoria Motto, and this is Autumn Green also by Victoria Motto, and this is my progress so far. Most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to stitch the border and then put it down and pick it up again later. I think, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3 more colors. Mocha by Weeks Dye Works, Molasses by Weeks Dye Works, and Picnic Basket by Gast. So I may or may not use another Victoria Motto. I really love this linen. It is gorgeous, and this is probably the truer color. And there's my stitching. So the border should go fairly quickly as long as I don't miscount on something, but really, really love that stitch. So there's that one. The next one, which is a similar, in fact, I've gotten them mixed up in their respective bags more than once, is the Little Busy Bee by Needlework Press. I love this one. I cannot wait to get down to these roses, well, to get down to any of the motifs. I also only have a minimal start on the border, and I am doing this on, this is Fabrics by Stephanie. This is called Dried Thistle. It's a 40 count, and I did have to kind of squish it up near the top because I really wanted to fit it on the piece of the linen that didn't have the lighter color down here. I wanted it all on the darker color. This linen is just phenomenal. It's so pretty. So here's my progress. Not a whole lot. Again, the border isn't that challenging other than, of course, counting correctly and having it meet up. But looking forward to stitching on that one. The next one that is definitely on my list to put a good chunk of time in this year is the Red Deer Sampler. And this is GGR. I am doing this on 40 count vintage cedar plank, and I'm doing it with the called for colors, and again, a very tiny start. I love this color. Here's the start, and I really need to get cracking on this. I love this. I have so many pretty ones to work on. I sometimes don't know what to do, but I just, you know, whatever strikes my fancy that day, that's what I pick up. Although I do tend to, lately, at least the last 6 months or so, I do tend to spend a significant amount of time on a stitch. Some of them to just get it done, and the samplers I usually spend about a week on. The next one, this is going to be probably a multi-year project. It's one of my favorites. I invested in the silks, and the stitch is Louisa Barney, 1892. And the linen that I chose for this is a Lakeside Vintage. It's not cedar plank. What is it? It's another one that's very close. It actually is a 50 count, so I've been struggling a little bit with what I have started. That's actually not really that pretty. It's the very, very top corner right here. I can't wait to get down to these roses. But I'm really looking forward to working on this. I think I'm going to put this one on a frame and do it that way. I think that will probably help with the small count. I did order the silks from Kitten Stitcher. She has some of the silk kits from Reflet de Spa, and they came on these beautiful cards, so I have all of the silks to do that, and I'm just going to enjoy. It doesn't matter how long it takes to do the stitch. I'm just going to enjoy it, and it's going to be so pretty when it's done. This is a color I really like. I think I'm going to be redoing my my bedroom in shades of this vintagey blue, bluish green, at least for the winter months. And so I do have some plans I'll show you here in a little bit of another stitch that I plan on doing, or several stitches that I plan on doing to go in my bedroom. Actually, they just came up right here. So there's been some beautiful, beautiful bird stitches that have come out this last year. And I think I'm going to do a grouping of birds. The first one that came out, and I bought the kit. This is one of the small samplings collection from Heartstring Samplery, Beth Twist. And this is E.A. Selick, 1842. I love that. And it's all kitted up. I'm probably going to use the linen. I haven't decided yet. It kind of depends. So that is definitely on, it's one of the smaller ones that is on my radar, coming up really, really soon. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start it, but it's going to be probably in the next month or so. The next one is Mary Amelia's Bird. And let's see if I can do that without shining a glare. You can buy this as a download off of Quaint Rose Needle Art's site. And I just kitted this up yesterday. And it's done all in DMC. And so I pulled the DMC and I pulled a linen. And I'm trying to size these so they can all be grouped together. This one I'm going to do on a 36 count. So it's going to be 6 1/4 by 6 5/8. This is a piece of linen that I hand dyed. I actually probably would have preferred a 40, but I love how, let me back up here. I love how this linen turned out. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think the colors on them are going to really pop on there. It's going to be so pretty. And it's kind of a very light terracotta color with a little bit of yellow undertone. It was kind of an experiment that I did. So, and this is a second dye, or it's an exhaust dye. How would I describe that? Basically, I had dyed a piece of brown fabric, and I dyed this with what was left over after dyeing the brown fabric. So this was actually a brown dye, and I think it's a double dye because, like I said, it has yellow undertones, but I really like it. I think it's going to look gorgeous. So that is on the radar, and those are both in my bird bag. And the third one that I'm debating about adding to that collection, so I want 3, is the middle part of Anne Thomas, which is a Hands Across the Sea. So not the entire stitch, but just this right here. And I want to do it on the extra piece, the extra linen that I have from Louisa Barney. So it would be these 3 linens together, which I think would look really, really nice. So that's the plan so far. It's always open to change. So those are some plans. And then the last one that I have on my radar, just because I need something to stitch to help me process what's happening in the world right now. This is a La-Di-Da stitch. It's called Peaceful Ways. The picture on it, it's an older chart. The picture on it is a little bit hard to see, but let me put it in there. I am doing this on a 45 count vintage Meadow Rue. This is my itty bitty start. I'm doing it in silk and DMC. I think that these will look lovely. And I'm definitely not a little floss challenge here. There we go. Those are the colors. I think this will be very pretty, and the words say, "Oh, gentle words and peaceful ways." So that's really all I have today, except I do need to announce the winners of the giveaway from last time. I have already put their notified them on their comments on the last video. And the first one, let's see, sorry about that, I had to go get them. The first giveaway was Snowflakes, Paper Snowflakes by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread, and Kimberly Hart won this one. The second one was Stacey Nash Primitive Silent Night Pin Keep and Ornaments, and Judy Gibbons won that one. The next one was Prairie Schooler 1991 Santa and Char J 57 CHR 57 won this one. The next one was Prairie Schooler Prairie Stars book 117, and Claudia M won this one. And the last one was Up on the Housetop, which is book number 25. This is one of the original cardstock, so was the other one. Donna Barker won this one. So thank you for participating in this. And as I said, I put your names, I responded to your comments. Please email me at textilus@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram, also through Textilus. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and hopefully my next video won't be so long from now. I'm hoping to do another one in a couple weeks. So thanks everyone, take care, love you all, bye-bye.